So let's talk about intermittent fasting. I'm sure you've heard the term floating around, right? But it's way, way more than just another diet trend. Honestly, you should think of it like a metabolic symphony. It's a powerful biological process that acts like a conductor, orchestrating these huge changes inside our bodies, and basically rewiring our metabolism from the ground up. So let's dive in and really explore the science behind it.
You know, for years, the conversation has always been about what we eat. Calories in, calories out, all that stuff. But what if that's only half the story? This is the central question that intermittent fasting forces us to ask. It suggests that when you eat might be just as important, maybe even more so, than what's actually on your plate. Okay, so the whole secret sauce here comes down to one really cool biological mechanism. It's called metabolic switching. And the best way to think about it is like a hybrid car. Most of the time, your body's running on gasoline. That's the glucose, the sugar from the food you eat. But when you fast, it's like the car realizes the gas is low and boom, it flips over to the electric battery. It starts using its fat reserves for fuel instead. And that single switch, that's what unlocks everything we're about to talk about.
So the big question is, how does flipping this one switch lead to so many benefits? Well, it all comes down to three major and totally interconnected pathways. We're going to walk through how fasting actually remodels your fat, reshapes your gut, and, this is a big one, cools down inflammation throughout your system.
All right, first up, let's tackle fat. And I'm not just talking about losing weight or burning fat. No, intermittent fasting does something way more profound. It doesn't just empty your fat cells, it actually changes their very nature and what they do. So take a look at this, because it's pretty wild. On one side, you've got your standard white fat. Its main job? Just storing energy. Kinda lazy, right? But fasting kicks off this process called browning. It basically flips a switch inside those storage cells, making them express the special protein that turns them into active, energy-burning furnaces. It is a complete functional makeover for your fat. And the results of this whole remodeling project? They are fantastic. For one, it targets that really dangerous visceral fat, the stuff that hangs around your organs. It also tells the pro-inflammatory immune cells that like to hang out in fat tissue to just chill out. And it helps get your metabolic hormones like leptin, that's the one that says, hey, you're full, back to normal. Okay, that brings us right into our second pillar, your gut. This is a huge piece of the puzzle, and honestly, it's one we're only now starting to fully appreciate. Turns out, fasting gives your gut a starring role in your health. This chart here really shows you what's going on. Think of fasting as being like a master gardener for your gut microbiome. As you can see, it encourages all the good bacteria, the helpful stuff like Akkermansia, to flourish, while kind of weeding out the less beneficial ones. It's a total renovation of your internal ecosystem. So what? Why does this matter for the rest of you? Well, a happy, reshaped gut starts pumping out all these beneficial compounds. And, critically, it strengthens the gut wall. This is a huge deal because it stops inflammatory junk, like this molecule called LPS, from leaking out into your bloodstream and making a beeline for your liver. The end result? Less inflammation, not just in your liver, but everywhere. And that leads us perfectly into our third and final pillar, cooling the fire. We're talking about that chronic, low-grade inflammation that can simmer away in the background for years, causing all sorts of problems. And make no mistake, this is not a small problem. Research is really clear on this. This kind of constant, low-level inflammation is a key driver of insulin resistance and the whole cascade of issues we call metabolic syndrome. It's the silent enemy that fasting goes head-to-head with. And the data on this is pretty amazing. Just look at this table. You see things like TNF-alpha, IL-6, CRP. You can think of these as the body's fire alarms. They're chemical signals that are screaming, there's a problem here. And what do we see? Intermittent fasting consistently brings the levels of these markers down. It literally turns down the volume on that inflammatory noise. But wait, there's more. It's kind of like a 1-2 punch. It doesn't just turn down the alarms. Fasting also beefs up our body's own internal security team. It boosts our natural antioxidant enzymes. These guys act like a cleanup crew for our cells, protecting them from damage, something called oxidative stress. Okay, so let's recap. We've got remodeled fat, a healthier gut, and way less inflammation. But here's the absolute coolest part. These aren't three separate things. They're not working in isolation. No, they feed into each other, creating this amazing, positive feedback loop. It's all about synergy. Let's put the pieces together. That remodeled fat tissue, it's not just smaller, it's smarter. It's sending out much better, clearer hormone signals to the rest of your body. And that healthier gut?
That stronger barrier means less inflammatory junk gets into your system. Plain and simple. That means less stress on your whole body, especially your liver.
And what happens when you cool down that fire, that systemic inflammation? It's like you're clearing the static from a radio signal. All of a sudden, your cells can actually hear the messages from the hormone insulin again. This directly fights insulin resistance, which, as we know, is at the heart of so much metabolic disease.
So here's the big takeaway. Intermittent fasting isn't just one thing. It's an orchestra conductor. It sets off this self-reinforcing cycle where everything gets better together. A healthier gut calms inflammation, which improves hormone signaling, which supports a healthy metabolism. It's a virtuous cycle that attacks the problem from all sides at once.
It's just an incredible reminder, isn't it, that sometimes the most powerful healing tools aren't in a pharmacy, but are actually built right into our own biology, just waiting for us to unlock them. It really shows our body has this profound innate power to heal itself. And that just makes you wonder, right? What other ancient practices hold the keys to modern health problems, just waiting for us to rediscover them?